It doesn't shout. It whispers. Not with big gestures, not with towering walls or gleaming surfaces, but with something quieter, something softer. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button because it's a simple way to show your love for these incredible designs. A home that feels older than time, yet somehow new. You don't just see it, you feel it the moment you're near. The air changes. There's a calm that drifts in, subtle but certain, as if the walls themselves are breathing alongside you. These aren't just walls, they're something more. Walls kissed with lime wash, layered in tones that shift with the light. Pale at dawn, glowing golden as the sun climbs, deepening into warm, earthy shadows as evening settles in. Each surface a living canvas, textured, imperfect, but perfect in a way only time-worn beauty can be. And then there are the plastered curves. Gentle, sweeping edges that soften every corner, every turn. They don't demand your attention. They earn it, quietly. They catch the morning light like skin warmed by the sun, holding it, bending it, letting it dance. This isn't the cold precision of metal or glass. It's the opposite. This is a home that breathes warmth, that carries the weight of history in its finish, and yet somehow feels untouched, as though it was built yesterday. But what really draws you in is what you can't quite name. Because this isn't just a barndominium. It's a memory you can walk through. A place that feels at once familiar and foreign, like stepping into a dream you swear you've had before. Every line, every curve, every muted hue, designed not to overwhelm, but to soothe. And there's a question that lingers, unspoken but heavy. Why does this feel so different from every other home? We share new content regularly to help you create spaces you love, so don't forget to subscribe. It's not about luxury, it's not about scale, it's about something far rarer, a sense of stillness woven into every layer of lime and plaster. A kind of stillness you can't buy, can't fake, can't rush. And as you stand there, tracing your hand along the textured wall, feeling the cool touch of the lime wash under your fingertips, you realize this place isn't trying to impress you. It's trying to make you feel. And maybe that's the kind of home we've been looking for all along. Step closer. The air feels different here, as though the walls themselves exhale with every breath you take. The plastered surfaces, textured like clouds frozen in motion, hold the sunlight gently, never harsh, never loud. They don't gleam or glare. They glow, as if they know that beauty doesn't have to shout to be seen. Each line, each curve, feels deliberate, yet not perfect. You notice the faint marks, the irregular strokes, the way the light shifts over them like ripples on still water. And in those quiet flaws there's something human, something almost intimate. Every imperfection is a story. A brush stroke left behind, a silent nod to the artisan's hand, a reminder that this place was made, not manufactured. Here, there is no gloss, no rush, no frantic perfection smoothed into oblivion. Only textures that invite touch and tones that soothe rather than startle. If you found this video inspiring, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Your support means to me, and it helps keep the design ideas coming your way. As you wander deeper, the lime wash does something subtle, almost unnoticeable at first. It softens everything. The sharp edges you expect in a modern home, they're gone. Corners curve like they're breathing. Walls shift with the light. And each space feels less like a room and more like a cocoon. The world outside, the noise, the hurry, the endless pull of urgency begins to dissolve, quietly, without you realizing. Time stretches. Moments slow. You start to hear things you didn't before, the faint echo of your own footsteps, the whisper of air moving gently through open spaces, the distant creak of wood as it settles into itself. This is not the cold precision of steel beams and glass panes. It isn't the hard, glossy surfaces that demand constant upkeep, or the stark lines that feel more like a showroom than a sanctuary. This place feels alive, as if the materials themselves are not only shaping the home, but shaping you as you move through it. And there's something deeper, lingering beneath the surface of every wall, something that makes you pause, makes you breathe differently. Maybe it's the way the lime wash captures the day as it unfolds, changing tone, catching shadows, becoming something new by the hour. Or maybe it's the way the plastered walls feel less like decoration and more like earth itself, drawn inside to cradle you. You can't quite explain it. But you know, without question, this barndominium isn't just built to shelter, it's built to soothe. But what is it about plaster and lime wash that makes this place feel different? It's not just how it looks, not just the soft textures or the colors that seem to hum instead of shout. There's something more, something harder to explain. If you love this type of look, hit that subscribe button to help us create more videos, and let us know in the comments what you'd love to see in future videos. Maybe it's the way the walls seem alive, as if they have moods of their own. In the early morning, they hold the light like mist, pale, delicate, almost translucent. By midday, they bloom into soft, sunlit warmth, turning every space into a quiet sanctuary. And as dusk settles, the colors deepen, casting shadows that feel rich and grounding, like the earth itself is pulling you closer. Or maybe it's because they breathe. Yes, breathe. These aren't sealed, lifeless surfaces. The lime wash and plaster are porous, pulling in the excess moisture from the air when the day grows heavy, then releasing it back when the air turns dry. It regulates everything: temperature, humidity, even the subtle scent of the space, like the home itself has a quiet heartbeat, a rhythm you don't hear but somehow feel. And maybe that's why, when you're inside, there's a comfort you can't quite name. The air feels fresher. The rooms feel calmer. It's as if these walls aren't barriers at all, but companions, adjusting to keep the space in harmony with the world outside. But there's something deeper here too, something older. This isn't new technology. This isn't a trend dreamed up by designers looking for novelty. Plaster and lime wash are crafts that stretch back centuries, born in castles and monasteries, places built not just to last, but to endure. These materials were chosen for their resilience, their ability to age gracefully, to soften and deepen as years roll by, rather than fade or crack. And now, somehow, they've found their way here, to a modern barndominium, far from stone halls and echoing cloisters. Yet they carry all that history with them, all that timelessness, without feeling heavy or old. It makes you wonder, why don't more homes feel like this? Why, in our race for sleek and shiny, did we forget that walls can do more than hold up a roof? They can breathe, they can soften, they can make us feel human again. And suddenly, you're not just looking at walls anymore. You're looking at a living, breathing story. And then you realize, this design was never just about walls. It's about everything that happens inside them. It's the way a late-night conversation sounds when the world is quiet, and your words echo a little softer, as though the walls themselves are listening, absorbing the weight of every syllable. It's the way the morning sunlight feels when it drifts through the windows, not glaring, not harsh, but softened as it dances along plastered curves, landing gently across the room like it was meant just for you. And slowly, almost without noticing, you begin to change too. You move a little slower here. You pause in places you wouldn't normally pause, leaning against a wall, resting your hand on the cool, textured surface, watching how the light shifts as clouds drift outside. You linger longer at the table, sipping your coffee, watching the shadows stretch and retreat across the room. The world feels quieter, not because it is, but because you are. And that's when it hits you. This barndominium isn't simply a shelter or a showcase or some perfect snapshot for a magazine. It's a gentle reminder. A whisper that maybe we've been moving too fast, building too sleek, chasing something shinier, when what we really crave is something softer, something slower, something that makes us feel the day, not just move through it. Because these walls don't ask you to be in a hurry. They don't reflect every sharp light back at you. They don't feel sterile or cold or distant. They wrap you in something different, something warmer, something human. And in that stillness, in that soft rhythm the house seems to carry, you start to remember what home is supposed to feel like. Not just a place to exist, but a place to live.